refurbished. So let me go and put that out there. They were refurbished. We got them for the low. Just saying.
These was brand new. They was never true.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Vibe Controllers Podcast. Merc B, Cocky McFly, Fifth Child, out here.
They work.
All right, y'all. Yeah. What up, good people, man? Welcome to the Vibe Controllers Podcast. We appreciate y'all tapping in with us. I go by the name of Cocky McFly. Welcome, episode 38. That person, young man across the table from me is Merc B. Williams. Do you stick?
What? That person? Listen.
Do you stick?
I don't really have to do it. These people know who I am. Look, shout out to all the fans out there. The greatest of all time has arrived. The podcast can now begin. Say it with me. Bitch, I'm famous.
Every week. Also, we got the homie up in here, Stephen Brown, aka Fifth Child. Fifth Child, say hey to the people.
Come on, insubordination. Let's go. Come on.
Bienvenidos.
Make me proud. Make me proud.
I ain't had nothing to add to it. Muchachos, bro.
Muchacho.
What did you say? What?
Bienvenidos.
Bienvenidos.
Do you know what that means?
Muchachos. Means welcome. Come on, man.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
You just looking at me like I'm supposed to. Like 5 words.
You ain't got no Mexican friends.
No. Well.
You got relatives, actually.
Yeah, we got relatives. Yeah,
I'll tell you
another
about
story
minute.
for another day. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I'll tell you about it on the break. It's too much
Right.
to explain.
That ain't what this episode is for. Let's start right here. Let's stay focused.
Glad you
Let's find out
said.
you got Cuban links.
I'm ready for the party this weekend.
That's racist. I apologize. Look, man, we got a special guest up in here for episode 38. Man, we are just so excited to not only have our brother back home, but have him up in here. He is a phenomenal writer and spoken word artist. Not the kind that be doing the shit with the music in the background, and not the folk who
Poetry
read
voice.
off their phones.
No poetry voice.
No poetry voice, like the nigga be knowing his shit. And we are so glad to have him here today. Our good brother Jerriod Avant. Say hey to the people, bro.
What's up, everybody?
Man, that nigga
Thank
got
y'all
that
for having me.
Beard white on you.
He ain't even got to lean all the way into the microphone.
Stop.
He sound like a poet. I just want that nigga to do my voice nails. That's it.
So you reached the phone of me.
Right.
Mercenary B. Williams.
Leave a message. Bitch, I'm famous. But yeah, man, we gonna be
Y'all
tapping
shit.
in. Man, you stupid. Man,
That's crazy.
we gonna be tapping in with our brother, man. He has a book out that he just released. We're gonna talk about the book, and we're gonna talk about like where he been, what he been doing, what he about to do. We're gonna talk about this book tour. We just gonna tap in with a little bit of everything. So yeah, y'all stay tuned. We out here. All right, man. Again, welcome episode 38 of the Vibe Controls Podcast. Man, we got our brother up in here, Jerriod Avant, and we just so happy to have you, man. More than words can say. You know,
Yeah, it feels.
and you know more words than we do because you make money off this shit.
Not necessarily. Y'all are writers, and artists, and
Well, you know, we ain't got books, and you do. So that's what we here to talk about today, man.
okay.
So we got the new book out entitled Muscadine.
Muscadine.
Yeah,
It's out from 4
it's-
Week Books.
it's out. Y'all can go get that book. We'll give y'all the information on how to go get that book at the end. So yeah, man, we just wanted to kind of tap in, man, and start off just talk about like the inspiration behind the name, you know, the concept, like, you know, I guess like just the book itself. Like, how did that all just come about?
Well, Muscadine it's a book of poems, and I think maybe the oldest poem in the book may be from 2012 or 13. But these poems are in large part dedicated to a lot of family members that me and my family have lost to cancer in the Delta. So there are a lot of elegies in the book or poems that sort of lament the feelings of grief after someone loses a loved one or a close family member. And so I came up with the title Muscadine because, it's usually around late August, early September, and muscadines are ripe. And so come mid-July, and I've spent, I think, maybe the last, even though I've been away from Mississippi doing academic years since maybe 2008, maybe the last 15 or 20 summers I've spent in Mississippi, with family.
Yeah.
And so the muscadine, me and my brothers on the road we grew up on, we used to go and pick blackberries so that Minnie, who was
I'm sorry, that took me back. For the folks who don't know, that's cousin. Me. Continue.
Yeah, that's black for cousin.
It took me back. Cousin.
And Minnie used to make these blackberry pies for us. And so when the blackberries ran out on the side of the road, we started smelling muscadine. And so my pops used to bring home muscadines. We used to go muscadine picking and making wine from muscadine. My mom and some of her classmates used to make wine from it. And so it became this kind of metaphor, motif of remembering the family members that we've lost because of how sort of ingrained this grape was in our local sort of memory with the family. And so some of the poems sort of take on this approach of sort of eating the muscadine right off the vine, because you could just walk up and pick it off and eat it, but then you could also take it and make this wine. And so some of the poems take on this sort of a drunken characteristic, I'll call it, of what you get when you drink wine, when you drink alcohol. And so some of the poems are sort of unruly, and the book is, as much as it's about grief and watching other family members deal with grief and how we sometimes get in the way of other people grieving, and sometimes we get in our own way. As much as it's about that, it's also about Southern dialect and manners of speaking that aren't always looked at in the best light. It's about Black English and Black vernacular and all of the, I guess, sonic qualities of Black speech that makes the Black tongue such a rich tongue.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's about a lot of things, but I think those two are probably the major tenets of this whole project.
Yeah, man. I know you got something to say.
I know you got a question.
What?
It's all over your face.
Well, because and I was about to ask that before you said it, so you were like right on time as the question was coming up in my head. If this is a grief project, or if it's a part of your process, part of your healing process too, with experiencing that loss. And then, but not even just like, every time we think about loss, like in a bad feeling, instead of
The beauty that comes
the
from it.
beauty that comes from it, and them becoming eternal at that point. So it's like a celebration.
Right. And I think a lot of the poems in the book, especially the elegies, they look at things objects that belong to them or that they used a lot, or I don't know, my brother's favorite cup, or my mom's, I don't know, it could be her favorite slippers, or my oldest brother, he had a shot glass collection. And wherever I went, wherever anybody went, if they went out of town, he was like, bring me a shot glass back. So we had all these shot glasses.
It's a hell of a thing to ask for.
You know,
I'm with it though.
Yeah.
and he didn't even drink like that. But he just, I don't know, it was an easy way for him to feel or live vicariously through the people who could travel. And so I think, you know, looking toward objects and physical reminders of those that we've lost have been a huge part of my healing process and making me feel okay with the loss. You know, not happy about the loss, but helping you deal with it and keep your sane mind, you know. I bet.
Oh, that mean you're getting into it.
Right.
Back like that. Oh, I'm with it. Yeah, that's what's up, man. And I know, you know, we kind of discussed having you. That was one of the first questions I asked, like if you're comfortable, kind of talking about it. And then just, I got my copy for you, but like, I was able to kind of skim through it, and I could, you know, relate as a country boy from North Mississippi. 662 in the building.
662, man.
You don't know nothing about it. You don't know nothing about it. You don't know nothing about this shit. Different, my boy. You don't know nothing about different, man.
It take a whole different set of skills.
Yeah, man. And so, how much of just that upbringing, because there is a difference in, you know,
Growing up in the flatland.
just you, the way you kind of move and shake, and you know, you from North Mississippi versus Central or South, or you know, other areas that don't matter. So how did like that upbringing kind of also kind of contribute to this book as well? Just not only just family, but just, you know, I know you understand. We grew up around all the people, and the high school and all that type of stuff kind of ties into like your upbringing.
Yeah, I feel like growing up where we grew up, like patience becomes a huge part of your sort of emotional landscape. Like you sort of learn or you accumulate a great deal of patience.
That's the word.
And with this project, you know, I've been, you know, a lot of folks who go to MFAs or grad school for creative writing, like they'll graduate and they may their book may come out the year they graduate. It may come out a year or two after, or maybe 3 years after. But these poems are sort of stewed for. I graduated with my MFA in 2015, and so it's been about 8 years since the MFA that I've been able to sort of let these poems simmer and marinate, and you know, make sure that these are the things that I want to say, and the way I want to say it. And so, you know, living in a place like Longtown, which doesn't have a zip code, because our closest post office is in Crenshaw, which is 7 miles away. You know, we can't see any of our neighbors from our house because we're just that far out in the sticks. My Verizon phone gets no service. It don't work unless the internet is working. I don't know. I think aside from the patience, I think it also teaches you, I don't know, it can teach you to value people and the roles that they play in your life. A lot of the people in the community show up in this book by name. People from the church, people my parents worked with, people that looked after us when my folks were out of town. And so it does have that kind of, I don't know, it takes a village kind of vibe to make a thing happen.
if you don't mind me interjecting, it's actually really, really good for me to hear you express it that way, because for folks who don't know, for the last 10 and a half years, I worked for a company that was assisting students in getting into college and finding the money to pay for it, right? And we served the entire state, so we would serve, as many urban communities as we did rural communities. And the narrative that was often pushed, especially early on when we would go to some of these schools in rural and smaller towns, it's like, okay, yeah, if you go to school, you get into college, and then you can make it out of this area, you can make it out of this and then as we would say that, the kid was like, what are you talking about? Who said I want to leave here? What's wrong with where I stay? Mm-hmm. Like, even if I did go to college, like, I'm coming back here, like, my whole family's here, everything I know is here. It's like you're bringing a city, big city is better kind of perspective to people who have like real legacy, like this home, this land has been in my family for however many generations, and you stay in an apartment in Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
Yeah, that's I don't know, man, that's something like I always sort of valued where we were from and cherished that house, the land, the people, but it wasn't until I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago when we saw my mom's health start to fade that me and my brother we had a come to Jesus moment. It was like, man, we got to do something and figure out where this is gonna go when it's time for us to go. Because right now this is where the buck stops at me and you. And so thinking about legacy and thinking about being able to leave something a little better for the people we bring into the world is a thing I think this whole project has helped sort of turn my mind toward.
I know we were talking about prior to starting to record. We were just talking about obviously our process, because we've all known each other almost 20 years at this point now, and so it's like it's that's crazy. Number one, let's just say that. But like we talked about, this stage that we're at in our lives now, especially with you coming back home, like so many times, like we know a lot of folks who have gone away and doing amazing things where they are. And it's kind of like what we talked about when Rakia was on the show as well too, how there's, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a renaissance of Jackson, but I would say it's more of an artistic resurgence that's kind of happening now, and you starting to see a lot of people come back, and mainly because we the OGs now. You know what I mean? We are what Celie and Sonny and so many other people were to us. We are that to this generation of artists now.
That's so wild.
Yeah, it's wild to think about that, but that's where we are now. And so the book is essentially the process of all of that, like your grief and your growth as a man, as a human being, to get to where we are now, basically, because you had to stop this at a point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now, that this kind of explains, because I'm sure this is great and I can't wait to read it, but I'm excited about the next step, which is whatever comes in this version of Jerriod. Yeah. You know what I mean? So just kind of talk about that, like how this helped to get you to where you are now.
Yeah. A friend poet of mine, we used to joke with each other that we just gonna go full J Electronica. We ain't gonna never publish a book. We just gonna publish individual poems. We just gonna show up in journals and anthologies, but we'll never publish like a full book. But I think you're right. Like Muscadine is a culmination of a lot of that whole time. I think between the time I left Jackson and now, I guess that was maybe 2008 to now, it does sort of chronicle a lot of changes in my personal life, changes in, I think, the country, shifts in language and dialect, in a way that I think I can be proud of as a product, as a thing I can bring to people and say, hey, give this a read, and maybe you'll see a piece of yourself in it, maybe you'll see a piece of someone else you've lost in it, but essentially a thing that will allow me to reconnect and connect with people who I think have gone through similar trials and see the world through similar eyes or different eyes, and help and maybe change the way they think about language or think about the way a student is saying something.
Yeah.
Maybe the only way they know how to say it. It doesn't mean that it's the wrong way to say it. It just means that there may be another way to say it that they can add to the way that they already know how to say it. And I don't know. I'm excited about what the book is gonna look like and do out in the world. What doors it may open for me to, when I was in high school, I didn't know what a poet was. I didn't know, we read, my English teacher, I think we read a few Langston Hughes poems, some Robert Frost poems, and like Homer in high school English. And so that was poetry. So I didn't have a writer in the public schools coming into my classroom telling me that you can make a life as a writer doing this. Your writing can take you to this place or that place, and so part of my hope is that this book some kind of way gets me back in front of students like me who don't know that writing is a vocation that they can fully give themselves to and make a living doing it. Is I think the thing that I hope this book helps me accomplish the most.
Yeah, it's super dope because, like, man, I don't think that, and I'm just gonna say young people. We young people, but we just older than them young folks that we talking about. But we don't always push the arts. Like, you see a young brother or a young sister, like, you don't always, we never give them the arts as an option. Like, and there's nothing wrong with anything else, but, I think it's important. None of us probably could imagine that we would be creatives today.
Dude,
like, could not have told, you certainly couldn't have told me I would be no stand-up comedian. I'm just saying. Because I wasn't trying to do that. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do, actually. But I think we don't give them the option to know that, or even tap into the artistic side of it, which, kudos to Steven and what he does here at the Briarwood Arts Center, man, and back. Like, when they, have those nights for those young ladies and those young men, and even, this past Sunday, they let, the dancers come in and express themselves creatively that way, like tapping into another side of the brain and knowing that there's another option as well too. And just, I think it's dope that you're here, and that's something for you all to obviously sit down and talk about and collab and maybe get some writing workshops going in this place or whatever, because who knew that you could write until you actually wrote,
until somebody showed you that it was an option.
And I would imagine that when you got to Jackson State, it was like the light bulb came on.
Dude, like when I got to Jackson State and got in the band, and it was a lot of artists in the band.
Right.
Different artists just in the band that do different kind of shit. And then once you got out into the larger city of Jackson, you started meeting folks. I don't know. Like, that was my time in Jackson was, I don't know. It was a hell of a incubator period, I'd say, for all four of us, I think.
The world opened up. I ain't even know. I always tell people that first night in 2006, I won't forget my birthday, 2006. I came here, and my homeboy, shout out to John B. He was like, "Man, I'm about to take you somewhere," and he pulled up at 7, and I didn't even know that 7 existed, and I hear Dilla blasting out the front door.
I didn't know who Dilla was before.
I knew who he was, but I ain't know who he was.
I didn't know at all.
And I heard him blasting out the front door, walked in, fingerprint in the front, and he just scratching and just, I'm like, I just sat down and I was just staring at him for an hour. I was like, nigga. I went back. I was like, what the fuck? Like, the world opened up. I came back to, I was living in Hattiesburg then, came back to Hattiesburg, told everybody, like, nigga, we got to go back to Jackson. Like, they got this spot, nigga, it's us. And we literally was coming here, like, summertime. We kicked it every other weekend. We was down here.
Wait, y'all were coming from Hattiesburg?
We were coming from Hattiesburg when we first met you. Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
I know this isn't the topic of the I know this isn't the topic of the discussion, but when you said that, it just made me think of the first time that I heard Dilla and knew it was Dilla. You know what I'm saying? Because I had been listening to Farside and stuff, for forever. But when I heard, I was in the back seat of somebody's car, probably on my way to 7 actually. And heard J88. I was not old enough.
Oh,
I was not. No, I was not.
You and
I was
Silas,
absolutely.
y'all.
I was 7 years old.
You and NASA show was not supposed to be in that motherfucker.
I was not supposed
Here
to be
NASA show is a senior at Callaway.
I was
DJing
at
that motherfucker.
People's Middle School, probably.
Legit.
But yeah, man, I heard J88 and heard the Look of Love, and I was just like, what in the world is this? I mean, I remember it vividly.
So many vivid memories come from the time, and I don't know. I feel like it's a testament to spaces like that where people go and find their people, where people go and feel like they can be themselves without ridicule or judgment.
And I think it was special because we were all looking for the same thing. We were all looking for our tribe, and we just it wasn't like now. I think a lot of these young people, they kind of push each other off as opposed to being accepting of each other. It was just like, oh, you're an artist, you do art. This what you do. Oh, bet, come over here. We over here creating. Like, it might not be what you doing, but we gonna figure it out. Right. And so everybody was just looking for the same thing. And hey man, God bless Ezra for creating a space for everybody a safe space for everybody to just kind of be. And like, man, it was like crack. You was trying to be in there and get it every weekend.
Every weekend, man.
Weekend. What are you talking about? Thursday through Sunday. That's
the
poetry on Thursday. You kick it Friday. You kick it Saturday. You poetry on Sunday. You staying up till 2-3 in the morning each night. Then you turn right back around, do it all over again the next weekend.
Yeah, it felt like them 3 days. It felt like Monday through Wednesday was just getting ready for
getting ready for Thursday through Sunday. We'll go to our little jobs or whatever we had just to be doing whatever we needed to do. And shit, we in our mid to late 20s and we thinking that shit was gonna last forever, nigga. It did real life. Nope.
But I feel like now we're like in a place that if we wanted a place like that to go to or to provide for,
we can create it.
The next generation of artists, like we could do that.
Absolutely.
Because we knew what we were looking for. knew who needed to be involved, or we know who needs to be involved now, or what kind of person needs to be involved, and just what it takes. I don't know. It feels like a right time.
Oh yeah, it's like you get, and I think one of the things that's happened since coming back home and other people are coming back home, it's like like you get re-energized in a way, and it's like easier to create a lot of this stuff because we kind of been through some trial and error, and so like you said, like I know what I want, but now it's a different kind of putting the pieces together. It's like where the space gonna be, who gonna be involved, the financial type of things that we wasn't even thinking about.
Right.
Back in 07, 08, it was just we just pulling up to see our people, but now it's like we gonna pull up to see our people. We want to make sure everything is right when we come, and it just continues, and then we have the right young people in place to kind of pass the torch. But in that, like, so we got like a lot of stuff, and I won't get into this because we got a lot of stuff playing. Where you got a lot of stuff playing for the book itself. So you got a book tour coming up.
The book tour is coming up September 14th. We're in New York.
I won't be in New York then.
At Word Bookstore in Brooklyn. It's in Greenpoint on the 14th. How long are you going to be there?
13th through the 16th.
Okay.
I gotta pull up, yeah.
We should
Look at that.
There's on the 16th there's a reading at Nameable Books in Brooklyn, and on the 19th we're reading at Bryant Park at the Bryant Park Reading Room. Then October 1st we're in LA at Stories Books on the 1st, and at Poetic Research Bureau on October 3rd. We're trying to figure out a thing in Boise, Idaho, with the James Castle House. I did a residency out there in spring of 2021. And so we're trying to figure that out. And then we're back in Mississippi, October 10th. We're doing a reading at Off Square Books in Oxford. And October 20th, we're doing a reading at Offbeat. With DJ Venom and the Vibe Controllers and some special guests, some poets from the city, some old friends and some new friends.
Now, I ain't reading that book. You ain't gonna get me to come up there and get me fumbling over the damn words and shit. Read with my finger.
What this word? How you say this word?
Muscadine. What is it? Like, so,
Muscadini?
Like, what's the word? No. I be in there to support.
Oh my God. Yeah. And so that's all we've got planned for the fall. Some spring stuff is coming together, but I think between now and then we'll probably be adding some more stuff.
For sure. Yeah, man.
We're trying to put something together with Ezra too.
Okay.
I don't know if that's going to be in September or October or not.
Yeah. And that 20th, that's homecoming weekend, right?
20th October?
I think so.
No, that's the weekend after homecoming.
Okay. Sure, right. You right. So, well, focus still be here. But go ahead.
How did you know it was done?
How did I know?
The book that is.
Muscadine was done.
That's a good question. I be wanting to know how y'all know, like writers and poets. Joke writing is different. Just drop the pen like Dave Chappelle do the mic. Just bing, just drop that whole.
That is a good question. You know, I had some trouble organizing the manuscript early on, but then a friend shared an essay with me, and they were talking about this thing called the synoptic moment, where the poem reveals what it's about. It's just like a synopsis. You read a movie synopsis, it tell you what the movie is about. But with this synoptic moment, there's two approaches to it. You can reveal what everything is about at the beginning and try to sustain it to the end, or you can not reveal it at the beginning and build up to it and build up to the ending. And so I ended up taking that approach where I start with the thing that the thing is about. And I knew where I wanted to start, and I figured out where I wanted it to end. And I think after enough arranging and rearranging and seeing how poems live beside each other in the order, I think I kind of just felt it in my body, and after reading it enough times, it felt complete. It felt like the trajectory that I wanted the reader to encounter when they read it. And so I think that's probably what helped me know that it was done.
Because I've heard this this theory or this saying that like your first release, you spent your whole life up to that point on it, more or less.
42 years, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but in the case of a lot of artists, it makes sense why their debut project is normally regarded as one of their best, if not their best. But then I think there's a lot of perspective that comes after that first release, like Jerriod pre-Muscadine, and then the experiences and the things that you learn from just how life and what these words being in the universe, the way that it affects your atmosphere from that point. I think that being in tune to that can make the second release just as potent, but still remaining present and just not trying to rush into that, you know?
Right, yeah. I don't ever want to like rush into a project or pushing a project out. You know, I'll obviously wait.
Right. I
have no problem. So basically, taking my time.
The next book gonna come out when you turn 54. That's just where we at. We rationing it out.
I'm not in the rush that I say I'm in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I get it.
Oh, man. I don't know. I think that's part of what we admired about what was that Maxwell album, Black Summer or something. He came out with that after that hiatus that he had, and he showed up on stage and he was shaved and he looked good.
Yeah. Like, I had to take a break.
Right. He was like, I had to live some life. I had to, you don't, it ain't just a factory where you pump it out. Right. Or at least you don't want to treat it like that.
Well, because I think it shows you really care about the art too. Like, you want to create stuff that's timeless. I think sometimes with a lot of artists, they're in such a hurry to, especially in this generation of instant gratification, with all of these other elements that you have to deal with. Because we came up at a time in artistry where there was really no social media like this, and so now everything is at the click of your finger.
Content.
And so we didn't really have it. That wasn't how we got out here. It was, you got to get out here and kind of do.
You had to really be out here.
You had to get out here and fail.
Yeah.
Now you had to literally fail forward. But again, it's just this need to kind of put out content. And while I think sometimes that process can like dilute the quality.
Oh yeah, I feel like it can make you feel less proud of the work that you're putting out.
Right. Oh, that's good.
If you just sit down every day and say, I gotta write 5 poems in these 5 hours, like they gonna sound like you wrote
5 hours.
They gonna sound like AI.
Garbage. It's gonna be hot garbage.
Flipping Krabby Patties.
That's it.
You got kids. That just lets me know you got kids.
Hard.
Which is also inappropriate for children. But that's another story for another day.
He don't know what he watching.
We don't have to get into that.
Oh my god.
He old.
SpongeBob is super inappropriate, man. But whatever.
Fuck it. So is Disney.
Among other things. But anyway, all right, we falling off a tangent. You gonna pause or you gonna keep going?
I think we keep going. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
What
That's how I know where I need to cut that part out.
Nigga,
Oh,
I thought
okay.
you- I didn't
I'm
know
gonna
what
see
the-
that pick and I'll be like, oh,
First
okay.
of all, let me
That's
tell
something I
you,
need to fix.
hey, don't cut that out. I want you to keep.
That's an editor trick.
I want you to keep that shit because let me tell you, I like my boy got Tourette. I ain't know what was going on, man.
That's
I
an
figured
that's
you
an
was.
editing
I
trick.
figured you was screaming for a reason, but
No.
I ain't know.
Because sometimes you ever just have a moment where you think about some dumb shit you did in the past, and you just holler out loud like because you just maybe I thought that's what you was doing.
Man, I just was like,
didn't know.
stand, just be still.
That's an editing.
Pete, what are you
trick.
doing?
Finna ask some questions. Y'all all right at the house? Everything good?
I wasn't finna ask shit, because your next step after you holler, you finna pull that Pete. I finna hop at your ass.
I'm finna go on leave.
Oh man.
You got
Anyway, man, yeah, look, man, we thank you so much for pulling up on us, man.
No, thank y'all
Coming,
for
man, good people. Y'all, please give
opening
it
it
up
up, man.
for our brother Jerriod, Avant, up in here. Look, man,
virtual collapse.
tell the people how they can get in touch with you, how they can get the book, where the book at, all that.
So the book is out for pre-order right now from 4-Way Books. If you go to 4waybooks.com, search Muscadine, Muscadine. My author page will come up and you'll see where you can pre-order the book, the ebook, and soon the audiobook. I think the audiobook is going to be available September 15th, which is the official release day.
Oh, that's dope.
When it'll be in bookstores everywhere. I can be found on Instagram at Jerriod Avant. Same thing on Twitter and Facebook. I'm working on this website. So we'll see.
I understand.
We'll see.
I understand.
That's a lot.
It's a work in progress.
Hey, amen.
I
Just
understand.
give us grace
You know.
Hey, man, do you think? You think?
before you.
Why you looking at me? I ain't
I'm
saying
just saying. I'm talking to the listeners. The Muscadimes. Because you know they're going to do it.
Muscadine.
Muscadimes.
The man so eloquently
Valentine.
spelled it out. Ooh, Lord.
We
Put
gonna
that
I'm
in
telling
as
you,
Valentine every year.
We
I
gonna
don't
put
know.
that
Man, I
S.
love that Muscadimes book.
Did you mean to do that?
It don't
No.
mean
Nah,
nothing.
this man. Let me tell you,
We
you
gonna-
doing some top tier fucking up tonight.
Muscadine.
This the second weekend in a row.
Yes,
you
it
did
is.
that.
Hey, man, I don't know what your fast twitch muscles got going on, but boy, I want you to know I'm enjoying it. I really am.
Cutting it off.
I mean, look, 4 seasons, you've been perfect. It's about time for you to fuck up a little.
Oh my God.
It is. You've been doing magnificent.
Your cup runneth over. You need some rest.
This man, you just gonna let it play too, huh?
You know, we use that right now anyway.
Fuck.
Yeah, man.
This nigga just, you done gave up, my boy.
No.
The baby got you stressed.
No, we good.
Where are we in the spirit? Merc? What you got coming?
Man, look. Oh, you can. Well, this ain't gonna drop to Thursday, but you can catch me every Tuesday that I'm in the city. If I'm here, you can catch me every Tuesday at the workout room over at Howlin' Miles. Y'all make sure y'all come and check that out. Shout out to Rita Brent, who started that. We've done it 2 weeks in a row. Been a great crowd, great artists. If you're an artist or you want to come and whatever you want to do, it's a safe space, open space for artists to come and work out original material. Nobody's gonna be recording you or anything like that unless you want to record your own stuff, so you can work. But anyway, you can find me there. Shout out to the JSU Developmental Foundation Classic Weekend. We running it back for their event, so I'll be there. I guess. Well, yeah, I'm supposed to have something coming out on the Stellar Network this month. I don't know what the timetable is on that. It was supposed to be this month, but we will see. My brother's keeper. I will see y'all in September. And myself, along with my homie Nardo, and also with Rita as well too. We putting together some stuff, some dates, and so we about to get out here on this road again and get that work on. So follow me at Merk B Williams. You already know what it is, man.
All right, real quick, man. Again, thank y'all so much for supporting the Vibe Controllers and the whole Vibe Controllers movement. We have some good stuff coming up, man, specifically in the month of September, so the weekend of September 15th. So y'all make sure y'all mark your calendars for that. September 15th, we are in collaboration again with DJ Nasty Show and the official 601 Live Band for R&B Vibes. We bringing in DJ Cujo, and we got a whole bunch of real dope stuff coming up with that. On the 15th, on the 17th, we are in talks right now. But I'm going on to say we're going to be in Greenville. Sunday day party action.
Hey.
So, we're going to be at the crib working on the particulars of that. Y'all will hear more about that. On the personal side, I am working on, after this season, I'll be working on another podcast that I'll be doing in conjunction with my good friend Jerriod Lee. We're going to record right here at the Briarwood Arts Center, and we ain't got no name yet, but basically what we will be discussing are seasons of Beverly Hills 90210.
I know.
I'm telling you, we've been talking about doing this shit for about 5 years, man.
And not what I was expecting to come on next.
And Jerriod is one great friend, and Jerriod and I are fans of the show. So every time we talk about, I don't know nobody else who done watched it, and so we really just be breaking down like the dumbass shit on these episodes, and we just started back rewatching it, and so we've been texting back and forth like it's gonna be fun and funny. If you ever been around Jerriod, he's gonna be full of light beers. It's gonna be a great time. So that's a fact. So we're working on that, and a whole bunch of other stuff coming up. But of course, like I said, y'all can follow us individually. My page is no longer private, so you can click on it. I won't even know if you followed or not. Shit. And then also be sure to follow the Vibe Controllers for updates on all the good stuff. Fifth Child.
Briarwood Arts Center ribbon cutting on September 8th, and then BAC birthday on September 10th. Like made it to a year, and that's huge. That's nothing I take lightly, and I'm very excited about that. Yeah, it's a Sunday.
All right.
Yeah, very excited.
The ribbon cutting on a Friday.
Yeah, because the chamber said they didn't work on they couldn't come do it on Sunday.
All right, cool.
And Eddie Wright Barbecue is gonna be right next door.
Eddie Wright Barbecue will be right next door. So it's a lot of stuff going on, and I'm actually making some progress in terms of my toxic self-reliance. And I've actually formed several volunteer committees.
That's right.
One in particular is helping plan, or really is doing the planning for the birthday bash, and I'm really excited about the work that they're doing.
Good job.
You ain't got trying to for the sake of my marriage and family and health.
That's right.
Allowing people to
help you.
To help me.
The
health the marriage and family don't give a fuck about your health. You got to help them. That's what it said.
Right.
That's what's up, man. Y'all mark your calendars, like you said. September 10th. And as always, we are recording live from the Briarwood Arts Center. Make sure you
anointed center.
Follow them on Instagram, follow them on Facebook. A lot of dope stuff going on here. ACT prep still going on. bring your damn kids. It's free.
Register your damn kids.
Register.
Don't just drop 'em
bring
off.
them. Well, you know, some of y'all might not have access to register, but we just want to get back to the people. That's all we're gonna say. Yeah. So as always, before we leave, man, we like to leave y'all with a little nugget, a little something to carry on through the day, through the hour, through the minute, or whenever you're listening. And as customary, we always ask our guests to leave a nugget for the people as we leave. So, Jerriod,
A nugget.
just a little something of inspiration.
We know you got
or
a book
not.
full of them hoes. Like,
Or-
why you over there like?
Or you can read a preferred piece from the book if you would like. Whatever you want to do, brother. Let the spirit lead.
whatever you want to do. Unless you got a nugget now. I know you got a nugget.
I got a nugget.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know. We grew up borrowing stuff from neighbors. Sometimes it was stuff you could return, but when it was stuff you could return, they would always say, bring it back better than you found it, or leave it better than you found it. So the next time you occupy a space or walk into a room, bring better energy than you found in the room when you leave the room. Be that good energy.
I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Bless me indeed. I like
Be
it.
the good energy.
Well, listen. Remember when you point one finger at me, it's 3 more pointing back at you.
Be the good energy.
Let me tell you how. See, I got him.
Now, you didn't get shit.
It is full.
Empty it out. Anyway, man, thank y'all again for tapping in
that
with
hate, nigga.
episode 30. Yeah, man. Episode 38.
Still hate him.
Look, Merc, get the damn thing we can do.
You already know what it is. Stay up, stay blessed, stay free. Y'all share that shit, man.
All right, man. Shit. 2 things that means peace to the side because I'm chilling. As customary, you do gotta say it. You got to goddamn say it. And you can't just say it. Okay. I hate you. Anyway,
You do got to
but
say
you
it.
got to say it. So, as customary, any guest that you come, you got to say out here, but you got to say it like this. Out here. And I don't even know if your voice can even go there.
I
How
don't
to
know
say
it
it.
either, because this
Oh,
going to be
dear.
the most baritone out there.
Yeah, if you would like to do it in your octave, that's fine.
Come on, Blue from the Temptations.
One more time.
One more time. You got to say out here, but you got to say it like this.
Out here. Out here.
Oh,
shit. 662 on your dog ass.
This
My
nigga
boy.
went Mariah Carey on your ass with the octave.
I didn't know the boy had range
Pick up
like
that
that.
muscadine.
Don't pick up that muscadine.
That boy drank some musket dimes before he got here. That's how he hit that.
I can't wait to promote the book and add him to that shit. I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to tell people I read muscadines.
I was sitting in Kroger's.
Right. I was sitting at Kroger's.
And then I left to go get some Sonics. And it's all man's. Hey, man.
Cut this out.